close. This isn't what I wanted! I only hope you can forgive me. way, Leviathan. Stop this! I'm not here to play! Stop this! I'm not here
You're just full of surprises, aren't you? Garuda will be proud. was quite a tantrum.
Clive! Where is he? Well, yes. He's adorable.
He is now. But did you see him a few moments ago?
Clive, I don't know how to thank you.
It's all right. We should find him a dry blanket, though. Wouldn't want the little monster catching a cold.
There. He's finally asleep.
The poor thing had a long day.
That makes two of us. So, what happens now?
Now? Now, we make things right.
How?
By providing Walyas what he was denied. A place to learn and grow. A family to love and protect him. So that one day, when the wounds in his heart and mind have finally healed, he might decide for himself how he'd like to live the rest of his life. But until then, I'll stay by his side, come what may.
Then he's a lucky boy. And not only because he'll have the best warrior this side of the belt to teach him the battle axe.
She'll do her best.
Shula, the beast that threatened your home is tamed. The empire that threatened your people toppled. Might it not be time to cast off your ancestors' glamour and retake your place in the Twins?
Perhaps. It's not as if we have the crystals to maintain the wall much longer. But are we truly safe? Is the world truly ready to accept us for who we are and what we believe? If I remember rightly, you and yours still choose to remain hidden, do you not?
We do.
Well, your people will always be welcome in Haven, regardless.
As will yours in the hideaway. We're allies now. If there's anything you need from us, supplies, food, equipment, do not hesitate to ask.
It's kind of you to offer. But we'll manage, just as we always have. Besides, I suspect you'll be needing everything at your disposal if you're going to save the world.
I fear much of it is past saving. The best we can do is strive to turn what's left into a world where we can all live as equals.
A noble endeavor. And there'll be a place in this world for us, will there? For Walyas.
For everyone. I swear it.
Then we shall be waiting. Until the tides bear you back to shore.
Do you think he'll be all right?
Well, yes. Only time will tell. But I can certainly think of worse places to spend one's childhood. The Moats of Water are a fine people, and they will take good care of him.
Up by the Vare, Ultima spoke to me. He called Leviathan his most profaned fragment, and told me to redeem the sins that had laid him low.
Is that so? The sins of Wallius's ancestors were grave indeed. To force him to prime at so tender an age.
And to freeze him in time, that he might never know what it was to live.
Yet I doubt either of those crimes was the source of Ultima's displeasure. It was that the Icon's power had been put to another purpose than the one he intended. To him, Leviathan must have seemed an aberration.
Could that be why Ultima made no attempt to lead me to him? The fear that this profaned fragment might corrupt his vessel somehow.
Perhaps. Or perhaps he simply deemed Leviathan surplus to requirements. Having concluded that his vessel might be made to serve his purposes without the full sum of his power.
His purposes? There's no escaping them. Even here. Hidden away in Mysidia, the blessing of the crystals proved nothing but a prison. A prison into which Wallius was born, and from which freedom is hard won. If the world doesn't change, if we don't change it, he'll end up suffering the same fate as every dominant who came before him.
Then we must change it.
That we must.
And we shall.
Reckon my steel's just as good as any. Good tide to you.
My friend, I have news. I think I might have found a way to break Talor's curse.
Go on.
Well, after listening to the village elders and scouring every likely-looking tome in the library, I learned that not all Tomberries are the same little green menaces we know and loathe. Apparently, a chosen few live to incredible ages and grow to many times the size of their counterparts. The folktales hold that it's the very eldest of these, the Tomberry kings, who weave the curses, and that their magics bind their victims to them, that they might continue to feed on their pain.
So if we slay the one that cast the curse, the feeding will cease.
But that was my thinking, yes. Though I doubt it'll be easy. These kings are not just bigger, they're stronger too. And if the tales are true, their followers will defend them to the death. It is a perilous proposition, in short, but it may also be Talor's only hope. What say you?
I'll do it. Even if killing this king doesn't break the curse, Mysidia will be a safer place for its removal.
Thank you.
So then, where will I find it?
That, alas, I do not know. It must have woven the curse at the altar in Father's Fell, but as to where it is now...
Fannet! You were the one asking about Tonberries, right? Because there's a whole bloody army of them out on the cloak.
What? But why would they stray so far? And why now?
There's only one way to find out. I'll head up the mountain and see what's going on.
Right. Thank you. And please, be careful.
It is good to hang on the back.
You wouldn't happen to have some time on your hands, would you, Clive? Only I was wondering if you might help me with something else.
Don't tell me. Another unruly dominant.
Not quite, but a dangerous foe nonetheless. It promises to be quite a hunt. Care to join me?
All right. Tell me about our quarry.
A fiendish, cold-blooded beast known as a Givra. Normally, we leave such animals well alone, and for good reason. But I have an even better reason to want its tongue.
Its tongue.
If you'll permit me, tributary, I can explain.
Certainly, Yamila.
It's been over a week since me sister gave birth to her first child, yet she still isn't back on her feet. We've tried everything to restore her spirits. Physics and nostrums, the laying on of hands and of leeches, but all to no avail. The healers tell me there's only one hope left. A broth as potent as its ingredients are perilous to procure.
It isn't only Yamila's sister who stands to benefit from this, by the way. There's her baby to think of, and Walias, too. She'd agreed to be his wet nurse, you see.
I'd be glad to help.
Thank you. Our hunters have no shortage of skill, but this task calls for more than that. And it won't be achieved through weight of numbers either. The Givra is as wary a foe as it is a deadly one. 2 hunters might catch it unawares, but any more than that, and it would pick up our scent a league away.
Then it is decided. The 2 of you will go, while Jill and I occupy ourselves here.
Perhaps we might help prepare the broth.
That would be most kind of you.
Come then, Clive. The river of time flows fast, and so must we. There's a Givra that has claimed the ruins at the foot of the mountain as its hunting ground. But as I say, they are wary creatures. We'll need suitable bait to draw it out. The flesh of a forest ibex should suffice.
To the forest, then.
There's nothing a Givra loves more than a fat haunch of ibex.
There speaks the voice of experience. Do you hunt often?
Since I was a girl, my father would take me. Then after he returned to the sea, Yamila's father. Our families have always been close. Even if her sister wasn't Walias's wet nurse, I couldn't stand by and watch her suffer.
My lord,
Certainly.
none of us was a match for them.
Of course. I'll see the path is made safe.
Thank you, my lord. The grave is in a place called Witch Drop. To reach it, one must turn left at the Winged Wains, then follow the path around to the right, deep into the forest.
Why so far from Haven?
It was where she lived. When our ancestors first came to Mysidia, they found her there, in an old abandoned village, and it was her heartfelt wish to return there in death. So when she passed away, my great-grandmother had a stone erected for her on the cliffs overlooking the place she once called home.
How thoughtful. Well then, no time like the present. Left at the ships, then round to the right, you said.
Just so. Thank you once again, my lord. I will join you at the grave anon.
Mister, over here! Please, mister, you've got to help us. The village is in danger, and if someone doesn't do something... you should have seen it.
Stop. Take a deep breath and tell me everything. Starting with your name.
Sorry, my name's Eirik. When you went up to the Air of Hours with Miss Shula, I followed you. Lady Shula told us you lot were great warriors, but then I lost track of you in the woods.
Saw what?
A great big drip, spitting out great spouts of water it was.
Spouts of water?
Well, I did.
All right.
Thanks, man. It was over by the Swift one.
Then that's where
I wouldn't go through those gates for 10 hun.
Found her. They're almost at the gate. They won't be coming any closer. That should buy Haven some time, at least.
Clive, are you all right?
Fine. We've taken care of the immediate threat.
Thank the tides. I was worried I was going to lose you both. Till he took a sudden turn for the worse just after you left.
What? Is he?
No, he's hanging on. I fear the Tombury King may have begun the cursing ritual again. In earnest this time. And I can't imagine their being here as a coincidence. I think it might be happening on this very mountain.
If it is, it won't be for long. Get back to Talor. I'm going up.
My thanks. I shall pray for both of you.
Ready, go? More of them. Come on, then. I crave an audience with your king. Another group. They don't look very regal. I failed.
The gatekeepers look worried.
Faster! Fly, Ambrosia.
and it had been wrong.
There's dozens of them. The king must be close. We'll have to take care of his followers first.
Oh, that's a lot of Tombres. Looks like that's the last of them. Out here, anyway. But beastmen do like dark places. Well, I'll be damned. A crown. Sorry, Your Majesty, but your reign ends here. It's done.
Clive! Is it done then?
It is. I was going to ask if there had been any change in Talor's condition, but judging by that smile on your face, I think I already know the answer.
You do? Talor! He's back!
Thank you, my lord. I can never repay you for everything you've done for me. I owe you my life.
I'm just glad the curse is lifted. There is one thing I'd like to know, though. If you don't mind my asking. What made you seek the Tombry's help in the first place?
Oh, that, well, you deserve to know. It was years ago now, back in my trading days. The Sons of Greek arrested me in Oriflamme, chained me up in a lightless cell with a great sword hung over my head, ready to fall if I didn't confess. Though they never said to what. I didn't, of course. So eventually they just let me go. And I never told a soul. Tried to forget it ever happened. But then you came along and the sight of your sword brought it all flooding back. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, couldn't hardly breathe, and I thought that if I gave my old chain to the Tombrys, maybe they could take all that pain away. All that anger. But it only made it worse.
Oriflamme has fallen. And the men who tortured you likely fell with it.
If only I'd known, I might have spared everyone a lot of trouble. I'd convinced myself that you were like them, that all outsiders were the same, but you're not. Far from it. Thank you, son. Thank you.
Clive, there's something I need to tell you. After we parted ways on the path to the cloak, I went straight back to Talor and explained to him what you were doing on his behalf. And just like that, his pain began to fade.
What do you mean? Just like that? The Tombry King would have still been alive. I had to contend with dozens of his minions before I found him.
Then perhaps one of them warned him of your coming and he broke off his ritual. Or perhaps I know.
Was there ever really a curse then? For all the difference it makes.
Maybe not. But this much.
Is that the hunter?
It's you. Nasser's savior.
Are you all right? What happened?
I was tracking an ibex when a great spout of water struck me square in the back. Sent me flying all the way across the clearing.
Did you see what made it?
No. All I heard was a noise. An ear-splitting din.
Might this be the culprit? Leave him to us. You've caused enough trouble. Well, that wasn't too bad. Hardly a threat to the village, but you can't blame the boy for being scared.
You made that look a lot easier than it was.
Do you think that was the beast which attacked you?
That thing? Not a chance. Would have heard it coming a league away. And the blast of water that hit me was beyond anything an Archelon can manage.
Oh. A boy from the village sent me in search of a beast that could conjure such things, but...
That's it. That's the noise I heard. Sounded like it came from the ruins.
I'll go. You head back to Haven and see a healer. What do we have here? Found her. Something's been busy. Whatever this creature is, it's out for blood. But it's not having ours. Stay close, Torgal. Where are you? Fragment of Wallius's rage. I should have known. Time to put you to bed too. Fingers crossed that's the last of them. Either way, I should let Eirik know the danger is past. For now, at least.
How many times do we have to tell you?
You're back!
So...
I did.
Yes!
Only because you warned me of its existence.
What was it, anyway?
A manifestation of Leviathan's power. Though why one would be wandering the ruins of Riversmeet, I don't...
Maybe it was looking for his mum. That's where she died, isn't it?
The Falls?
Aye. When they took her baby, she threw herself off the top. We go there once a year to pay our respects.
And Eggy is a part of its master's spirit, would he?
Well, either way...
Aye.
So the storm has finally passed.
I'm so sorry for it.
This is all we have. Here you are. May it serve you well. Then I bid you good tide.
This should be the path to Witchdrop. Hungry, Toggle? Is that beast ringing? Here's our welcoming party. Looks like that's the... This must be it.
My lord, thank you for making the path safe again.
Easy.
Yes. Hardly the most fitting tribute for a dominant, is it? A rough-hewn stone with naught but a given name engraved on it. But my ancestors had only been here a matter of weeks when she passed. Yet they spared what they could to grant her wish.
She lived down there then? In the ruins?
That's right. When the Northern Thanes sent her here to weave her spell, this was where she and her retinue stayed. There were priests, handmaidens, and a knight sworn to shield her from harm. Of course, they were all gone by the time my ancestors arrived.
All except Isay.
Indeed. At least, that is the story as it's been handed down in Haven. Some years after Isay's passing, you see, my grandmother came here to tend the grave, and found a stranger kneeling before it. A knight, dressed head to toe in plate. She asked of him who he was and whence he had come, but received no answer. The only words he spoke were, "Tell me true, whose grave is this?" So she told him of how her people had met and cared for Isay, and how she had died. His only reaction was to stare up at the air of hours in silence. Then he left, never to be seen again.
You said he was wearing plate. Was it black and gold?
Do you know something of him?
When we went up to the Air of Hours to unravel the spell, we were set upon by a shade in the shape of a knight in full plate. It manifested in front of the Vare, and in its ether, I felt Shiva, the witch.
You think this may have been the same man my great-grandmother met? Isay's knight?
I don't know. Maybe. All I can say for sure is it was intent on protecting her creation.
Or perhaps her spirit.
Till we ended it.
If the shade you fought was Isay's knight, then ending it was the greatest gift you could have given him. Now he can return to the sea, to be with his lady once more. And if his spirit should ever return here to visit her grave, I shall ask his name, that I might carve it in the stone next to hers.
That they might be together. Once and for all.
Faster!
Reset.
These will do nicely. Return to the sea, and to the clouds rise again.
We have our bait then. What next?
Next, we pay a visit to the Dark Gate to pick some local weed. It'll help disguise our scent.
Come on. Run like the wind.
There should be a sprig or two of local weed growing somewhere around here. Look for the golden leaves.
Is this it?
Aye, that's the stuff. Crush the leaves between your fingertips and rub them on your clothes.
If you insist. You could have warned me about the smell.
Like corruption, isn't it? But it'll stop the Givra from noticing us. Its nose will tell it we're nothing but a feast for worms.
Oh, I feel so much better.
We can wash it off afterwards. If there's one good thing about the Givra choosing the ruins for its hunting ground, it's that there's plenty of fresh water nearby.
Where should we lay the bait?
Givras are creatures of habit. Look for some sign of its passing. It's sure to return to the same place sooner or later.
A fresh kill.
But not a Givras.
These look like a predator's tracks.
And not just any claws. These belong to a Givra. We'll lay the bait here.
Let's hope our friend is hungry. Still no sign.
Patience, Clive. Hunting's not something you can rush.
Have you stalked these beasts before?
Once. Givras are fast, so the job called for a bearer. But even with my knack, it was a close-run thing.
Not many leaders would take such risks for their people.
Says the man who battled an icon to save a boy he barely knew. It is the way of the moats of water to use what gifts we've been given for the good of all.
It was Sid, the man whose name I bear. He fought for his people and their future with every fibre of his being. I'm just following in his footsteps. In many ways, you remind me of him.
Me? You're confusing daring with desperation. Quiet. Something's coming. Our guest has finally arrived.
Shall we greet him?
It'd be rude not to.
better to this game.
You weren't exaggerating when you said they were dangerous.
They're forces of nature, all right. And with this one's passing, the river of life has calmed. O roaring torrent, son of storms, may your spirit run free in the open ocean. This flesh I claim, that your gifts might rain down upon us this day, and our river flow in spate once more. Well then, let's return to the village. We must get this tongue to Ymilla before it spoils.
Tributary, my lord. Did all proceed as planned?
It did. Here. One Geaver tongue, as promised.
Oh, thank you. I shall add it to the broth at once. By your leave, tributary.
If there is anything else that we can do to help, you need only ask.
No, no. You've already done more for my family than I can ever repay.
Just as you have, Clive, for my family. I only regret that I have nothing to offer you in return but my gratitude.
It's more than enough. Besides, I'm no less grateful to you.
For what?
For welcoming my friends and I into your midst. For showing us how your people live. For reminding me that the world we strive to create, where bearers can live alongside their fellow men in peace and comfort, is no mere fantasy.
I'd hardly call it comfort. Every day is a struggle. Though we do at least struggle together, it's true.
As must we all. I only ask that you remember the cost of using your gifts as a bearer. I know that you feel it's your duty to do whatever you can to help your people. But you have a child to think about now. And Wallis has lost enough.
I shall bear that in mind.
That's all I ask. Oh, and if there is anything else that we can do to help, well, you know.
Thank you. Truly. Has to be him.
What has to be who? If you, don't mind my asking.
It's not your asking I mind. It's my explaining. But I don't see any other way around it. You see, when a baby is born here, we hold a ceremony to welcome them. The rite of immersion, we call it. But I don't know whether Wallius was ever afforded that courtesy. What is abundantly clear, though, is that my ancestors never welcomed him as one of us. And I want to change that. The problem is, the ceremony requires 3 ministrators, the baby's parents and a witness. As tributary, the role of witness would normally fall to me, but being Wallius's closest living relative, I must play the role of mother.
So you want me to serve as witness in your stead?
That's right. A witness must be a trusty guardian, ready to steer the child through the stormy waters of life and on to tranquility. Which is why I thought of you.
It would be my honor.
Thank you, Clive.
So, if you will serve as mother and I as witness, who will take on the father's role?
I have a younger brother. He should be making ready for the rite as we speak, though whether he is or not. Let me introduce you.
Please do. If he's anything like his sister, I'm sure we'll get on famously.
I'll bid him come to the Witten Hall. Will you wait for us there?
Gladly.
It is good to have him back.
Clive, my brother.
If it isn't my old mate Sid!
You?
So you do remember me, even stripped of my cunning disguise? I'm touched.
You two know each other?
My friends and I crossed paths with your brother on our hunt for the dusk crystals, during which we saved his life. 3 times, was it?
3, 4, Who's counting? All I know is when Shula mentioned she'd called in Sid the Outlaw to help young Walyas, I could be sure that the little rascal was in safe hands. I mean, having seen you in action back at the tower, I know exactly what you're capable of.
So the mercenary you met in the Sage Spire, that was Clive. And he saved your life? That's a rather different story from the one you told me. And a far likelier one at that. It would appear my family owe you twice over. Whether they admit it or not. Honestly, Fammy, would it kill you to tell the truth once in a while?
What? I said sorry, didn't I? How about we save the, recriminations until after the ceremony, eh?
Speaking of which, what does this ceremony involve exactly?
It's simple, really. We each say a short prayer and anoint the child's head with holy water.
Nothing too onerous, then?
Not about the rite itself. One of the witnesses' responsibilities is to collect the holy water, you see. Don't worry, though.
I'd appreciate that.
Bamiel, you...
Leave it to...
If there's anything Jill and I can do to assist you...
We'd be glad to help.
Thank you both. All right then, let's get started, shall we? There are 3 types of holy water that we must collect. The water of the mountain, of the river, and of the sea. We take the water of the mountain from the spring atop Maiden's March, the water of the river from the course that flows through the ruins of Riversmeet, and the water of the sea from the shallows of Tailwind Bay. Here are the files we'll be using in the ceremony. I'm ready to leave whenever you are.